Mikey,
He
please.
knows it.
Mike,
He knows it.
Mike, you never even care what the chat says unless there's a donation behind it. Why do you care all of a sudden tonight?
Because I was trying to get them to donate, Becky.
They're saying it right in the chat without donating.
Yeah, and I'm not reading that. I was trying to get them to donate and tell me. I was fishing for fucking money, dude.
The ones who are donating are Tina's fucking simps that are so sad that they're about to have their little idol fucking ruined. Denial.
I've never gotten ruined over the years because I take accountability. I stand up and say, you know what, I was wrong for that. I did say it. Unlike you who make shit up on other people to deflect away from the fact that you're a failure at this. You fail at this again. You fail at hot sauce. You fail at fucking this dumbass conversation. You're just a fucking failure. When you said I snitch on you, I said no. I straight went and gave it to him. That's not snitching, bitch. You are a bitch. Mike, you're a fucking asshole. If you think I would look your
Tina, I have not taken any sides.
Say that about you. I would never do that to Mike and Mia. Never.
Hold on. Tina, less than 2 months ago, you admitted to talking crap about me to Becky.
I never said I wanted to kill you
Billy
and stab
Hill
you like a
super chatted $20. Becky, no one believes you. Fake. Here's your money, Mike.
Oh, please. Listen, like I said, if you want to be in denial, that's up to fucking you. In fact, I think, Tina, that most of your supporters must live in Egypt because they're all in fucking denial.
Here's what I think. Okay, Tina, if it's real, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Let me talk. If this is you, and I don't understand how people think Becky can clone Tina's voice. I don't know how that would happen. If it's real, you were probably just talking shit, running your mouth, saying shit you would regret, not realizing that she was going to.
Why are you making excuses for her, Michael? Just admit the fucking truth.
I'm trying to get her to admit it, Becky.
I didn't do it, Mike. I would tell you I did it.
You're innocent? Okay, here's what I want to do. Tina says she's innocent. Becky says that she has proof. I want to shut the fuck up about it. What can we talk about for the next 30 minutes that's not this, and we can deal with this on Monday?
I don't want to shut the fuck up about it, Mike.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a good one. Hope Sunday is doing good for you. Hope you're having a great Holy Week. Today's episode is going to be a little different, and well, not different, but we're going to be looking at some numbers to do some comparison, because I think it's kind of important, right? In this particular clip, I know I did cover this stream, and it was mostly focused on how fake the whole Tina thing was, and how, clearly it was fake no matter what, AI or not. But one of the things that caught my attention particularly, and not simply with, not simply with this, just this stream, but just in general, and what Michael was saying about how they were fishing for money, because the last couple of days prior to that, lolcowqueen hasn't been making a lot of money. They haven't been making the money that they usually are known to be making, and it's due to a number of factors, mostly, especially after Fat Camp, and you can see the numbers slowly dwindle away, right? And now we are going to look at those numbers, but it's interesting to me that how they're willing to go this far, right, just to fake something to get donos. Now that isn't surprising, given that these people are money hungry and they are driven by the pursuit of the dollar or what it may be. But it is interesting for me to see that they're willing to go down this particular road to get money, right? That they have to fake something just to generate $600. And we're going to look at some numbers that kind of really hammers this in. And we're going to also compare it to lolcowlive numbers as well. Round 2, everybody. Oh, with this, right? So, as I said before about revenue and hammering money, I had to re-record all of this, so my apologies. I'd rather re-record it and then do a post commentary. It's a lot easier on myself, and I'm a lot more able to process my thinking. So my original, my original recording was meant to look at both lolcowlive and lolcowqueen. It's a good comparison when we're talking about revenue and super chat, right? Because as I said, in my original recording, I mentioned that early that clip what Mike was saying that they've been losing money, or not really losing money, but they haven't been making a lot of money, right? And I think it has to do with just a clear division within lolcowqueen versus lolcowlive. And if we were to look at the other shows particularly, right, it's much more different. Now you gotta remember, right, that they're splitting this money 4 ways. So Mike is getting his cut, Keem is getting his cut, Beck is getting her cut, and obviously and Tina, right? So they're splitting, even if it isn't the amount they're making in a month, they have to split this. They have to split all this money down 4 ways, and obviously YouTube takes its own cut. If we were to look at this month to month, actually, I wonder if we can look at it year to year. This is 2024, so they meet around. That's for lolcowlive, actually, and I believe Queens has only been around for a fraction of the time, right? And obviously, I don't think this is a really good comparison, and I'm only using Playboard because it's a lot easier, right? It's doing a shitty job at even that, right? But let's even look at their live numbers, right? And I think now there are certain gaps, right? There are certain gaps in between the days they're off, where I feel, and there is also, we got to take account of fat camp, right? Their highest peak. Now I would say that if anything with Queens, right, if we compare to live, where live numbers are a lot higher, even when the time they have off, their numbers are a lot higher and a lot more where they are generally, right? And it's usually in a lot better compared to Queen's number, where they're not really growing, but they're not really decreasing. It's a clear sign of stagnation. Now, what is producing this stagnation that's really affecting their live numbers and even their their money? It has to do with the division between Tina and Becky, and I already mentioned this, right? Where if you look at live, when you had the three guys, Keem, Boogie, and Wings, yeah, they were different, but it wasn't to the point where it was unbearable to watch. Now, occasionally there would be certain episodes where Boogie was just unbearable, or Wings was unbearable, or Keem was unbearable, but they made it a way where you still kept watching, you kept enjoying what you were watching, right? You kept going, but also it's just how the environment was, where I feel like when you watch live went really fast. When I watch lolcowlive feels a much faster pace show compared to Queens, where Queens is just a much more sluggish show to watch half the time, because the fighting and the drama is so overplayed and so dumb that people just don't care, and I think it's affecting their viewership on top of that. Again, these are good numbers. Let me see if we can get their general, how much subscribers are getting, right? I'm trying to see if we can find it. I believe Lolcow Queens has, if it's ever gonna show up. This is subscriber ring. I believe Lolcow Queens had a fraction of the numbers of live. With I think if lolcowlive has around like close to 100,000, they have like 92 or 94,000, not 94,000. Then I believe Queen. I'll look at my phone right now. We're doing this in real time. I am a professional. They have a fraction of what obviously live is getting. Now, it should also mention that if Queen was its own independent show, not connected to lolcowlive, and it was just Tina, Becky, and Mike, they would not be getting these numbers. They would not even be getting the viewership or the super chat compared to live. Yeah, live is only getting around 4,000 views, maybe even more or less, but not as much compared to obviously Queens. Right. For a channel that has around 90,000 views, right? 90,000 views plus, no, 90,000 subscribers, and just getting this kind of number is still really good compared to channels who have been around longer, right? Who don't even hit these kind of numbers sometimes. Obviously, Queen was getting a quarter of what Live has, right? If we want to really round it all up, right? Let's say Live has 100,000 and Queens has 25,000 subs, right? these numbers are really, really good for its channel. But the problem is that they're not making the money that a channel like that would. But it doesn't also help that, to be frank, a lot of the money that would be going to the girl don't really go to them, because a quarter of it has to go to Keem, a quarter of it has to actually go to Mike, and then a small number, I believe like a quarter of it actually goes to YouTube. So even if they were to make this, even if they were to make 1,000, if it was just one person making 1,000, and obviously YouTube takes its cut, that still is a lot of money, right? And it's also as important of consistent, when we look at the number that live, even when the days are off, there was 3 days where they were off. Yeah, they made 1,800, they made 600, but I believe that was on the weekend. It was a slower stream. Took a day off, and they were hitting it hard. They made, if you put all this number all together, it's like around 4,500, right? And then they still, even when those streams where they were not making enough, they still made quite a bit with the other streams. Now, I believe this is from yesterday. Obviously, when we look at Thursday, the link stuff, they made a lot of money. But that same Thursday for Queen, it wasn't even close. Not even it was barely a fraction of it, right? And I think that's important to understand when we look at Queens and when we look at live. Again, the division within Queen is so bad, even if it's fake or not, people don't want to watch it, and it's so hard to watch because of how slow it goes, right? It just drags on. Where I feel like with with live doesn't have that problem, because live, their hosts are a lot easier to watch and a lot more enjoyable. Even when they fight, they make it they make it entertaining. But also, I think another thing is, right, is that there's within Local Queens, you got the Becky gang, and then you got Roach gang, right, the Tina group. And that also affects it, because like depending, right, one will donate and the other won't donate. And it's vice versa, where you don't see that in live. You don't see that real. You may see it in nerds, but it isn't really that bad. And in the case of Milkers has the advantage of Savage, who has her pirates, and they are diehard supporters of her. Where I feel like, yeah, maybe Tina has people who like her, but they're not as hardcore dedicated compared to Savage, who are willing to donate more, right? Even if it's the pirate group doesn't like Roxy, they're still going to support it because of Savage. And people have made the case like, well, if you don't support Queen, that hurts Tina, vice versa. And though I guess I kind of do feel bad for Tina, at the same time, it's also on Mike, because Mike should at least do something to really change the direction. That could also apply to Keem, and and that is what it is. Right, because the numbers don't lie, right? When we look at the money and we look at the views, and that's actually all we need to look at live views. I believe even their subscribers have kind of like not even grown. It's kind of like eh, they even lost subscribers at one point. When we look at live it has us, even against the net negative they have, was is like quite a bit. They don't compare to the amount of gains they have. Even the days they have off, they're still gaining subscribers. But when we look at Queens, yeah, there are times that they had gains, but after that, it's just that's not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, right? If you look at my channel, obviously, my channel is only slowly growing, but I don't mind it like that. Where in the case, but I'm not gonna really complain, right? Like why, right? Whereas in Queens is it's in a state of stagnation. It can't really. It's in a state of stagnation, right? It's not growing, but it's not declining. It's making some money, but not a lot. But it's not making but it is making a little, which is not what they want. Compared to live, where live is killing it regardless. Now, we'll have to wait and see how things play out, because worst case scenario, Queens is completely shut down, like it's replaced by milkers. With that is a possibility. Only way around it if they fix their number, but also if they fix the division between Tina and Becky. But that doesn't really matter, because ultimately, even if it is fake or real, and I'm going to lean to it toward it being fake, it's to the point where nobody wants to watch it. Everybody is sick of how scripted it is, and everybody is tired of it. Everybody wants him to just get along and just run a show. No one cares who is doing what. People just want them to run the show, and truthfully, I don't blame people for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's not exactly different, but just different in a certain way. I wanted to do something. Till then, have a good one, be safe, and God bless.